Next up is Dr. Gitanjali Yadav. Please, over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, Martina?
Yes, yes.
Great. I'd like to share some slides. So once again, a big hello to everybody joining from various time zones in the world. I'm Geeta Yadav, broadcasting from New Delhi, India, and I thank the UN Library and Spark for this opportunity to present our work. Through this platform, we at Semantic Climate hope to gain visibility and involve the wider community in both climate change and open access. It goes without saying that there is no justice without access. But what is required is that access of real knowledge is available to us, not just reading material. And that is where I think we come in as Semantic Climate. We believe in making knowledge freely accessible to all. So our emerging story is that we are catalyzing the building of a global semantic knowledge commons for climate change. It's a self-improving network of semantic tools. This is a very powerful idea, and it can change and transform the way the world collects and uses knowledge. In general, all of us are aware of the United Nations IPCC, the world's most authoritative resource on climate change. And here is what we know about the 2022 AR6, the latest report. It has 50 chapters that run to over 10,000 pages of text, tables, diagrams, references. It's written in English, yes, for specialists, and it uses a great deal of jargon, technical terms, abbreviations, acronyms, and these technical terms are usually explained only once. There is, of course, a PDF glossary. There's also a table of contents, but no index. Many chapters reference each other back and forth, but links have to be traversed by humans. And most importantly, this entire resource, like the rest of the climate data, which is available to us in the world, is entirely locked in the so-called portable document format that you know as PDF. So we must ask, is the IPCC report and the rest of the climate data in the world truly accessible, or is it just available? You'd say this is semantics, right? Use whichever word you want to use, but let us see what is the difference between information availability and information accessibility, and how does that difference look like in the real world? In the real world, available and accessible are not the same thing. And all this while, we have been talking accessibility, whereas we've been doing availability. And because we've been effectively changing the meaning of accessibility, we have changed the entire outcome. And if we are to truly achieve true climate justice, then the word open access or accessible must encompass another wider meaning, such that data is, one, available to easily discover, download, read with an internet browser, two, machine actionable, meaning it should have the expectation of machines taking their own analytical actions on the information that you provide into them. Three, exportable, so that the information can be transformed, combined with information from other resources. It should be able to repurpose into new actionable knowledge. And it must be comprehensible to those we are dependent upon to take action, whether they are policymakers, legislators, citizens, scientists, farmers, inventors, you name them. Because without comprehension, there is going to be no interest, no attention, and no participatory action on anyone's part. Many of you may recall that the PDFs were designed about 30 years ago for creating and viewing flexibly formatted documents, right? Without the user having to worry about what devices am I using, what operating system have I got, or what browser am I using. This versatility of the PDF revolutionized information sharing, and the world embraced the PDF without realizing that formatting constraints at the back end of the PDF, they make extracting structured information near impossible. As most climate relevant law and policy documents today are PDFs, this presents a challenge to our goal of making them fully searchable. And so let's take an example. Let's look at chapter 6 of the IPCC report. That's a nice example. We've all been there. Have you ever tried copying and pasting from a PDF and turning it into something usable? Yes, of course you have. But what you get when you copy and paste from a PDF, you also get headers and footers from every page. So is the watermark copied, so are the line numbers copied, so are the broken line breaks copied. And that makes cleaning up this whole mess an impossible task. And I'm not even talking about the white characters that are at the background. And then there are tables. And then on top of the tables are the added meanings and loss of meaning from colors in the documents, everything trapped in the PDF. And can you even begin to imagine how much data from charts, graphs, images is entirely stuck in this PDF prison? So left with an amorphous soup of characters with no obvious or consistent semantic structure, what is it that we should do? So we at Semantic Climate ask the question, how much action can we get out of the PDF format? And consequently, how much justice can we create? This is where we come in. Semantic Climate is building the solution. A central activity that we have here in Semantic Climate is to liberate climate knowledge and make it accessible to the world. So we have created a proof of concept toolkit that transforms the IPCC's AR6 PDF as a template into semantic hypermedia form. This is a non-trivial task, something that has haunted developers for the past 30 years. Our Semantic Climate Toolkit makes the report accessible, processable by machines embedded in the global knowledge graph and thereby connected to multilingual resources. We think that this toolkit would be of interest to many people attending the webinar today and this panel. In particular, we are also aware that several universities around the world are starting to run compulsory climate courses. And this hypermedia tool that we've developed can be used as a free resource for education. And we are very, very happy to collaborate. We started this business of unlocking PDFs and data, starting with published papers back in 2020, when the world, we started unlocking when the world locked down all around us. Initially, it was just the two of us, me and my collaborator, Dr. Peter Murray Rust at the University of Cambridge, who is here with us today in the audience. Peter and I slowly started to build together a community of volunteers, initially working on extracting information from, about the virus. And then we tested our tools with plants. I'm a plant scientist. In the CEV Open collaboration, we joined forces with a very interesting guy who calls himself the plant detective. Manny Faria is also in the audience with us today, and he's our Canadian-Portuguese collaborator. So here we are today, liberating the IPCC reports. The program that we now have has evolved into Semantic Climate, starting with just 2 interns that Peter and I had a couple of years ago. And by now we've expanded to over 25 undergraduates, master's students, and PhD students who came together to work across boundaries of rural and urban geographies, boundaries of nationalities, and boundaries of language barriers. The atmosphere in Semantic Climate is electric. And in the last 6 months, our team in India and several other global volunteers have made great progress. Together, we've been able to build 1, a community based on collaboration and communal values, 2, an open platform independent client-side technology, 3, semantic resources for text and data mining, and 4, a dictionary system based on Wikidata. A little example. This panel is about climate justice. How do we find out about climate justice? You just heard Martina talk about it, and before that, you were also listening to Monica. So what we do is you could look up Wikidata if you have questions about climate justice, yes. The other thing you could do is a search on the large scholarly literature. So what we do is we start with the large scholarly literature, and we start to pull together this search through little programs, and all of our team members have individually worked on different parts of the whole workflow in order to put together this toolkit. So we have the semantic toolkit, and Ayush, Ananya, and Shweta, who are also here today with us in the audience, have created this toolkit, which we are now using for the IPCC's, let's say, for example, 1 chapter to create the world's semantic dictionary for the IPCC, the first semantic dictionary for IPCC with at least 1,000 different terms. And we are doing it automatically. So we've automated the whole business with the semantic toolkit so that anybody can use it. And we are creating a community that anybody can join. We search EuroPMC for climate justice. We get 425 hits. In about 2 minutes, we are able to download these 200 papers and create a word cloud using artificial intelligence over NLP and display the results in a Jupyter notebook, which make this equivalent to, for example, you're seeing the word climate justice in an N number of these papers, but it becomes equivalent to a word cloud that gives you a bigger picture or allows you to come out of the box and see the kinds of word frequencies and combinations that occur alongside of climate justice. With this Wikidata enriched dictionaries, we also have, because of being embedded in the global knowledge graph, as I told you earlier, we're also multilingual. And that multilinguality allows us to see, for example, this pine cone in 5 different languages. I speak Hindi, and the synonym for that is the Kondhari cone. And in 5 languages, you can see it here, but Wikidata would have it for far more. And therefore, when we convert the given PDF through our dictionaries, or when we embed it into Wikidata, we are able to expand out to as many languages as are available on the wiki. Ananya has automated the entire workflow for any of you if you wish to use this. And so we have a student-authored learning toolkit with us. And so here we are. You join us as a volunteer, you choose one chapter on the IPCC, whichever you like, which is your favorite, create a semantic dictionary and create hypermedia sections. We can find climate justice in the IPCC. And that is my point, that the data, the knowledge, the information is there. It's about us finding it. And we can, with semantic climate, we can find justice. Translating acronyms into Wikidata and Wikimedia papers is just a simple thing for us now. And how we turn it into hypermedia is an important thing. So there are executive summaries per chapter in the IPCC, about 1,000 paragraphs in all. And we intend to convert the whole set of 1,000 paragraphs into a hyperbook of executive summary sections. And this is our hyperbook. So we've done that already. And you can see within the hyperbook, as a global semantic knowledge graph, we have paragraphs and links to other chapters. We have the table of content, which you can click on and connect to, and we can get into every paragraph and figures. You click on a figure. This is an interactive hyperbook. You could get the figure right there. What we have done is to show you that available and accessible are not the same thing. And so it's important to have real open access. Once again, I would like to emphasize at the end that the definition of accessible has got to be encompassing availability to easily discover with an internet browser, machine readability, exportability, so that it can transform, combine information from other sources and repurpose it to generate new actionable knowledge, comprehensibility to those we are dependent upon. As again, without comprehension, no prerequisite, interest, action, attention, nothing can be done. You can find us on social media, and I once again thank the UN Library and Spark for this opportunity to present our work through this platform. We hope to find new collaborators and involve the wider community in climate change and open access. Before I say goodbye or thank you, I'd like you to see our mascot, Amy. Here she is, and she says goodbye. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Geeta, for this fantastic presentation. I am definitely one of the people who have struggled with PDFs and will be very interested in the tool you're developing, especially with regard to the IPCC report, because our job in the Global Communications Department here is very much to take these scientific, complex, technical reports and translate them into something the general public can understand. So we try to do that through, explainer pieces, articles, interviews, fact sheets, that we publish on our website, but getting the charts and the texts out of those PDFs is a real challenge. So I do appreciate your initiatives, and I will be definitely checking it out.